Hey guys, the Kitch2 here, and sorry for the lack of video content of the last couple of weeks. I know I said it was back, but real life can be a pain and busy. But I am doing a first for this channel. I'm responding to a blog by Mike Adams, so that's going to be interesting. If you watch Trolling with Logic regularly, you'll probably be aware who Mike Adams is. But just for those who may not be aware, here's the skinny, or Mike Adams. Think of him as a more dangerous Alex Jones, at least in my opinion. He writes for Natural News, yeah, that good, you know, brilliant website, and is pretty much anti everything GMO, vaccines, and buys into pretty much every conspiracy theory I can think of. And in this blog, he shows us some photos of people suffering from vaccine damage. However, it doesn't post any links. But thanks to the miracle of Google, I have found pretty much most of them. See the link below to the original article to see these images for yourself and to follow along. Okay, so the first image is of a young child suffering from eczema vaccinatum. Now, this is a reaction to the vaccinia virus, which is found in the smallpox vaccine. In this case, the exposure to the vaccinia virus came via the father. Now, the father was vaccinated for smallpox and went back home to his wife and child, and then the child was exposed to the vaccinia virus. However, this kind of transmission is rare, and it's the first time it's been reported since 1987. It is known that people receiving the smallpox vaccine, which can transmit the vaccinia virus up to 14 days, and there are rigorous hygiene standards that you must adhere to during this time period, which is to wear long sleeve clothing and to cover up the vaccination site with gauze. They can't share clothes or towels, and they have to wash their hands with 60% alcohol after touching the vaccination site. This obviously was not adhered to, because when they checked the family home, it was discovered that it was covered in the vaccinia virus, which showed that the father practiced bad hygiene management. This isn't a problem with the smallpox vaccine or vaccines in general. It's a problem with bad hygiene management, and the army are looking into improving the education of the people who are going forward for these vaccinations in the future to prevent this, even though it is very rare. Mainly because for eczema vaccinatum, this kind of reaction only occurs with people who have a history of eczema or other chronic or exfoliating conditions. But it's usually mild and self-limiting, but can be on the rare occasion be dangerous and lethal. Okay, off to a good start. Second image. In this image, it's a adverse reaction to a hepatitis vaccine. However, what you're not told is that this child was fighting off I'm going to pronounce this badly, and I should really not do this because I am studying microbiology. Meconium infection, and was suffering from a high temperature. The child was vaccinated anyway, even though this conflicted with the CDC guidelines. So this is again a problem with bad management. In this case, the doctor made a very bad call to go ahead with the vaccination, even though it conflicted with the CDC guidelines. In the third image, we have a child called, I'm going to pronounce this badly, Rory, who was given a BCG vaccine and then fell ill with a disseminated BCG disease, and unfortunately has passed away. However, this is a very rare event, and it's due to an immune system defect. In our fourth image, we see a case of eczema vaccinatum, as I said before, is usually mild or self-limiting, and is due to a adverse reaction to the vaccinia virus found in the smallpox vaccine, and it's usually associated with people who have a history of eczema or chronic or other chronic or exfoliating skin conditions. However, it should be noted that the smallpox vaccine is not available to the public, but is only used by the military after 9/11 and in labs who use the smallpox vaccine. In image 5, I couldn't find... All I could find really for this are anti-vaccination sites, so the information here is dubious to say the best, but it's all I can go on. Here, I did find the original blog, which was written by one of the parents, where they claimed that Eric, the boy you see in the photo obviously, was perfectly healthy. 7 days after his vaccination he had a seizure, and the parents feel they weren't told anything, they just said they feel it was the vaccine. Now I'm going to sound like an absolute complete bastard, but I don't care what the parents feel caused the seizures. It's complete nonsense to assume that any two events are connected just because one precedes the other. And I don't really feel too bad, because this is being used to promote anti-vaccinations, which is dangerous and will end up in a lot of needless people ending up getting sick and dying. So yeah, fuck them. In the 6th image, this is a generalized vaccinia. This is for people who, again, exposed to the vaccinia virus. However, it's a rash that's usually mild, self-limited, except for people who are immunocompromised. And in this photo, the child shown actually made a full recovery. Not a nice event, but it's would you rather a rash for a few days or the disease? You know, or you would rather this small chance of this happening, mild inconvenience, or the disease? You know, it's gotta learn how to analyze the risk. Okay, in this next image 7, again, all I could find are the typical anti-vaxxer sites. I found a blog written by the mother, and it states that the daughter was taken for a checkup and there she received the DPT vaccine. She suffered seizures as a result. However, it should be noted, if the story is true, that DTP has a small risk of febrile seizures and is no longer in use. In the 8th image, it's again back to the smallpox vaccine. Don't know where they're going back to this, because it's not used for anyone who's not in the military or working in a smallpox lab. This is where the remember back to image 6 where I said that usually in generalized vaccinia this is mild and self-limited except for people who are immunocompromised. This is what happens when you are immunocompromised. On to image 9. Again, another blog article. And they're always so reliant. I mean, you know, they're practically peer-reviewed. God, that is going to be quote mined so much. But I can't find the original article. Just, this vaccine caused eczema. Nothing mentioned about what the vaccine was about or anything. Just vaccine. Look at this baby. This vaccine. This baby's eczema was caused by vaccinations. That's it. So what really can I say? In the 10th image, again, progressive vaccinia. As I said before, same as image 10. However, in this image, the child was immunodeficient, and unfortunately the child did die. In the final image, we see what is claimed to be an adverse effect to the HPV vaccine known as Gardasil. However, a report by the CDC and FDA stated or shown that through the vaccine adverse event reporting system, which is how adverse events due to vaccines are monitored and reported in America, as the name implies, it received 53.9 reports of an adverse event due to this vaccine per 100,000 doses, 94% of which were non-serious. 32 people, however, of those reports did die. However, there is no evidence linking the vaccine to these deaths, or to suggest that this vaccine was responsible for these deaths. And there were 2 reports of ALS by 2 girls who died. However, there is no evidence to suggest that the vaccine was the cause. So this photo is really speculative to say that the vaccine was the cause of this adverse effect. But, since when did evidence ever really matter to anti-vaxxer or Mike Adams? However, Mike then ends his piece by saying the CDC does not want us to see these pics. Where did I find a good chunk of these pics? Oh, on the CDC website. You bastard! And I did comment saying on the blog that I found these images on the CDC website. But my comment I found later was no longer there. That's something to hide, Mike. Anyway, enough rage. I'm going to cool off. The Kitsch 2 out.